Hello, friends. This reflection is for the 20th Sunday of Ordinary Time. Now, we are part 4 of the Bread of Life discourse, so we're almost finished. And what we see here is we continue to reflect on the responsorial psalm in which, we are invited to taste and see the goodness of the Lord. Psalm 34 recalls, "Look to him that you may be radiant with joy, and your faces may not blush with shame. When the poor one called out, the Lord heard, and from all his distress he saved him." We are reminded, actually, that as we reflect on the part 4 of the Bread of Life discourse, is that unless you eat the true food and the true drink of the Eucharist, you do not have life within it. The sacrament of the Eucharist is God's method for enabling us to remain in him in us. Every time we receive the Eucharist, we take a part of him with us everywhere we go. And we are called to be, as we were reminded last week, to be those ambassadors of Christ, to share with others. And let the Eucharist transform you, friends. As St. Paul said to the Ephesians, "Do not continue in ignorance, but try to understand what is the will of the Lord." What Jesus wants us to do is he wants us to be a part of him, and he wants to be a part of you. Every time we receive the Eucharist, we grow in our journey to be with him. When the priest elevates the chalice and the paten which holds the Eucharist, he offers these words, and this comes right before the Our Father. "Through him, with him, and in him." And of course, you know that prayer. And the people say, Amen. Right? So Jesus continues in the Gospel of John. "I am the living bread that came down from heaven. Whoever eats this bread will live forever, and the bread that I will give is my flesh for the life of the world." Now, the Catholic Church was once accused of being engaged in cannibalism, which that is far from it, friends. Believe me when I tell you. But of course, when the Jews heard this, they began to say, "Wait a second. How could this man give us his flesh to eat?" They literally thought, "Oh, we're going to eat his body, really." But that's not the case. Jesus continues to reflect on this. And, we receive him every time we go to Mass, right? It's like a form of thanksgiving. Mary Healy reminds us that the Church has always understood the Eucharistic meal as not only a making present of the past, which is the Passion, but also a foretaste of the future, which is the full coming of God's kingdom. But now we have to do our part to fulfill to build the kingdom of heaven on earth. Whether it be helping the poor, stepping into the breach, giving alms, fasting, praying. Most importantly, is being fulfilled. Every time we receive Christ through the sacraments, we become partakers in his life. And his flesh is true food, friends. So, friends, as we reflect on the 20th Sunday, and we are very close to the end of the Bread of Life discourse, have you been receiving the Eucharist faithfully? Do you truly believe that you are taking part in the Passion and answering the call from God to fulfill his kingdom on earth now? Not when he comes again, but doing your part to prepare for his coming. God bless.